Now, as we all patiently wait for EA and Codemasters to reveal more information about F123, the upcoming game, there is a possibility that F1 could be monitoring the progress of a new game series. If you play football FIFA game, basically what has happened there is also been made by EA since 1994. That was until last year. FIFA, which is the world's governing body of football, has decided to split with EA over making this series. Now, EA will make their own football game called EA Sports FC, but the FIFA series will be organised by development by FIFA itself, with independent game developers paid for by FIFA. Now, this means that FIFA gets what it wants from a game series, and F1 could be monitoring this and thinking, well, if this is a success, and it has to depend if it's a success, let's break with Codemasters and EA and put it out there, and let's see what we can do. Now, F1 cars are obviously a little bit harder to license than fake football teams, for example, but if it's an unlicensed product, then EA could decide to cancel the series altogether, leaving a lot of Codemasters employees out of a job, purely because the only other game they're currently focused on are a new EA Rally game and also Need for Speed as well, which I can't quite remember. There's one of them that's made by in conjunction with what used to be Codemasters Cheshire as well. So this could have effects if F1 decides to, that EA and Codemasters aren't making the game that it wants. Now, obviously, F1 will be looking at the success of the new FIFA series compared to the new FC game series. Obviously, the difference that the F1 game has is it's, until recently, it didn't have any competition really. The problem is that with FIFA, it did until its death. Pro Evolution Soccer had its own player base and was able to pinch clubs away. Now, obviously, it's not the same with that, because obviously teams can license their cars out to other games. For example, the Renault F1 car appeared in the previous Forza Motorsport 7 as well, and also F1 cars have also appeared in Real Racing 3 and other game titles over the years, officially licensed as well. However, it's obviously, as I said, a little bit harder to license F1 compared to something like football, where you can just create fake teams. I suppose you could create a fake F1 teams and a fake track, like they did with Motorsport Manager, which obviously provided some competition for the F1 game. Now, obviously, F1 Manager is the second licensed video game for F1 now, and it's expected to be another second release of that series later this year, although it has its new competition, because apparently there's a new Motorsport Manager PC game in development right now, which could take the challenge to the F1 Manager series as well, and it also could kill it off. It's in its early stages. The problem that Frontier have is they put a lot of effort into data and did very little effort into front end and user playability. That has to change if they want to be able to take on Sega Play Motorsports, I think it is, who made that make that game. Whether or not Sega publishes the new game or not is yet to be seen. But with driving the game, obviously the EA Sports F1 game has the monopoly, and with Forza Motorsport unlikely to feature an F1 car, it means it has a pure monopoly. There are very few console or PC based games out there, you can actually drive a modern day F1 car excluding mods on Assetto Corsa. Now you may be wondering, why would F1 want to separate from EA and Codemasters? Well, esports. If you've been following other YouTubers, you will have seen cheats. Yes, a lot of people have been accused wildly by cheating, some with evidence, of course, because they've been shown leaving screenshots of their game files with these cheats on. Now, obviously, I'm not going to go into that because it's been covered by literally every YouTuber at this point, but basically there does need to be an anti-cheat, but it must not affect the current modding community, because otherwise, there's two communities at risk there of falling apart. EA and Codemasters have to do something. What they have done is chosen to ban certain YouTubers. For example, Alex Gillen is currently serving a 7-day ban from EA because he made a video on how easy it was to cheat. That was reduced from 30 days on after his appeal, which he's still got an appeal to get rid of the ban altogether outstanding at the time of recording. So, obviously it's bringing the game into disrepute. Now, one way you can get about this is to bring F1 esports back to a LAN format for the finals, like they did pre-COVID, because this year it was actually, on your local setup, for example. This would obviously be the fairer way to judge it, meaning that nobody can get anywhere near, providing, of course, that there's a ring-fence security around, that nobody's able to carry any memory sticks with any cheats into the arena there, or they just get a load of consoles basically, potentially, and just buy them, because cheats can't happen. Well, it's a lot harder to cheat on console basically, because obviously you don't have, unlike for mod, it's the same that you can't have a mod on a console, because you don't have access to the backward games file without a lot of hacking basically. So qualification needs to be closely monitored, but as well, because some people have managed to qualify by potentially using cheats as well, and potentially not everybody's been stopped, because obviously some have been stupid and set outlandish times, and obviously those outlier performances have been removed by EA and Codemasters. However, for the event style stuff, obviously there have been people that have been a bit more cleverer, and have boosted their performance by using cheats, and also because it's offline, I believe mods are also might be available as well, to be possible to mod the game and increase performance that way as well, compared to your competitors and the particular thing they've been tasked to do. And as a result of that, there may have been some people who have qualified for F1 esports that actually cheated as well. So there's a lot of problems, and this isn't the first time there have been people accused of cheating for F1 esports. You might remember back on F1 2018, there was an event around Spain, and basically the game didn't penalise you if you took the new layout by cutting that little chicane thing at the penultimate corner, by just going straight on there. Obviously, they investigated reports and looked at the timings at that point, and you had to provide video evidence of your innocence, otherwise they removed your time. Now, obviously, there are, it's not this is the fact that this is the second time people have been accused of cheating, and it's come about after F1 esports. F1 esports isn't about at the moment. There are a lot of people that have been accused of cheating, but there's been, so far, nothing really been done to investigate if they've actually been cheating or not. Apparently they are looking into fixing installing an anti-cheat, which based on the previous time, I think it was F1 2019, when if you had any mods, the game didn't save. Obviously they fixed that, but you know, as I said, there's a fine line. And I've gone on too much about cheating. So effectively, what I think could happen is that Codemasters still have a contract to make the F1 game up until 2025. Now, obviously, they got further option for 2026 and 2027, subject to Codemasters achieving certain performance thresholds. And obviously, since then, Codemasters has been bought out by EA as well, so obviously EA will also have to meet those performance thresholds. We don't know what those performance thresholds are as well, so F1 for 2026 and 2027 could look to make its own F1 game. That is yet to be seen, depending on what happens. Obviously F1 would have seen the performance of F1 esports, and also seen how the cheating accusations, and I hope somebody's pointed out the cheating accusations, and hopefully somebody has done in F1 from F1 esports has investigated any allegations made against anyone who was of cheating as well, because they do need to take this seriously, especially if there's money at stake as well for the winner. But obviously for F1, there's obviously the other thing, growing the game, and a lot of people have considered the EA buying Codemasters is a step backwards. Regional pricing, for example, has priced a lot of players out of the game, and obviously F1 Life got introduced, which was basically a sofa simulator. Now, we don't want a sofa simulator in F1. A lot of people don't use it in the F1 game. It's as simple as that. I'm hoping that F1 EA and Codemasters have dropped that for F1 23, otherwise there's going to be issues. So 2026 we'll have the new era regulations. Will they renew their contract? Could they choose to go to another developer, for example? That could depend on the growth of F1 Manager. The rise of they'll have a competition as well, whether they give both games to Frontier or whether they find another developer like Microsoft, Sony, etc. Obviously they need guarantees that the game would be available on both platforms as well, to not alienate one side of the community there. So there's lots of, as I said, there's lots of stuff that is going to be things to watch over the next couple of years as we move towards 2026. The question is, will Codemasters be given an extension to that contract? We'll have to wait and see. But I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have, leave a like. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think that F1 will look to move away from EA and Codemasters once its contract is up? As well, if you are new around here, then please do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content. Until the next video then, I'll see you next time. Take care, thanks so much for watching, enjoy your day, and goodbye.